IncogNegro episode 3. Do you believe in Negro greatness? This is Negro History Week, aka Black History Month. So we're going to shout out Carter G. Woodson first and foremost. We're going to shout out the descendants of slaves, the formerly enslaved and their families, the heirs to this great country we call America next. And we're going to shout out to the viewers. So before we get into it, we got a lot to get to today. We're going to focus on a little bit. I got the computer with me today. I want us to really give some homage at first, right? So as the intro, let's really talk about Carter G. Woodson because it's important for us to know what Black History Month is and why Negro History Week was established. So let's get into it. It says, why Carter G. Woodson started Negro History Week. Woodson was a Harvard-trained historian and believed that the miseducation of Black people and the omission of their history from mainstream America was deliberate and it was a tool of their oppression. He argued, if a race has no history, if it has no worthwhile traditions, it becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world and it stands in danger of being exterminated. Right? It says Negro History Week is his response to this erasure. Woodson chose the second week of February because it aligned with Frederick Douglass' birthday, which is Valentine's Day, February 14th, and Abraham Lincoln's birthday, which is February 12th. Both of which who were Republicans. So we're going to talk about the MAGA hat, why I wear the MAGA hat, and why if you're a Negro descendant of slaves, man, own America, you made it great. You'll wear the MAGA hat too. It's so right. It's okay. But we'll get to that in the second segment. It says Woodson saw history as a weapon for liberation and empowerment. He criticized the educational system for distorting or ignoring Black contributions, which is the focus of today. We're going to get into a lengthy list of Black contributions that have made America great. So if you believe that Negroes are great, and when when people say make America great again, I don't know why people don't see Negro greatness in that, which is what I do. But again, it says Woodson saw history as a weapon for liberation and empowerment. He criticized the education system for distorting or ignoring Black contributions, and that was a part of the writings, the miseducation of the Negro. Our oppressors have always indoctrinated the weak with his misinterpretation of crimes of the strong. By establishing Negro History Week, Woodson sought to break this cycle of miseducation. He wanted Black people to study their own history independently and recognize their achievements beyond slavery and oppression. Yes! We should emphasize not Negro history, but the Negro in history. What we need is not a history of selected races or nations, but the history of the world void of the biases, race hatred, and religious prejudices. The purpose of Negro History Week. Woodson did not intend for Black history to be confined in just 1 week. I know that because I did some research in that. He saw Negro History Week as the starting point and an opportunity to embed Black history into the broader fabrics of the American history and story. There is no America without the Negro. You get that? There is none, right? So our history is woven into American history and we need to own it. We need to be proud of it. We need to not just focus on slavery and oppression, but every contribution that we have made that has made this the greatest nation in the world. We are within the DNA, the fabrics of that, right? What Frederick Douglass says, our blood and our bones, right? We fertilize this soil. Yeah, he challenged educators and community leaders to use the week as a catalyst for a year-round study and advocacy. What we need is a history that will bring into light the achievements of Negroes as a member of society. We must rescue them from obscurity, the talented and courageous men and women who have contributed to the progress of civilization. And it says Woodson Legacy. Negro History Week laid the foundation for Black History Month, officially recognized in 1976. Woodson's efforts sparked a movement that has led to a greater recognition of Black contributions in school, media, and public institutions. Even today, his words serve as a reminder that history is not just about the past, it shapes the present and the future. And he warned, real education means to inspire people to live more abundantly, to learn to begin with life as they find it and make it better. So we're going to start there. Happy Black History Month. Started off with Negro History Week. This is IncogNegro, episode 3. Do you believe in Negro greatness? And now we'll get into the MAGA controversy. Peace. IncogNegro, episode 3. Do you believe in Negro greatness? Let's slow this one down a little bit. The hat that I have on right now is Buffalo Soldiers, right? I'm a descendant of colored troops and Buffalo Soldiers, right? Individuals that fought for freedom, justice, and equality in this country, individuals that fought for preservation of who we are as Negro Americans with no connection to Africa, and no, quote, indigenous history in America. And if we have, we don't know it, right? I'm not here to argue those origin things. I do know that I have ancestry in West Africa as well as East Africa. So shout out to my family. But I am an American, right? I am a descendant of the formerly enslaved people here. And just like this flag represents me, it's no different than this flag representing me, right? And there is never a moment where I hear people say how great America is or associates greatness with America that I don't think about Negroes, that I don't think about the contributions of Black Americans, formerly enslaved people, and free people of color that built this country to make it what it is. You feel me? I don't care who says it. Make America great again. Yes. Because I'm thinking about the times, the contributions, and the advancements of Black Americans before we have been systematically attacked in the last 50 years, even losing our communities to integration, right? I am thinking about when we established the Negro Leagues, right? I am thinking about when Madam C.J. Walker, I'm thinking about Annie Malone, I'm thinking about a Safe Bus Company. I am thinking about the Negroes that started the Republican Party with the white abolitionists, right, and Black abolitionists together, because Frederick Douglass was one. I am thinking about myself as an American, and if you associate America with greatness, you cannot remove the Negro. You cannot be null and void of the Negro, the patents, right? Because we're going to get to the contributions later in this episode. But I had no idea that me throwing a MAGA hat on, people wouldn't be able to understand who I am, how I give it up, how 10 toes I am down for my Negroes, my people in the community, the work that I do. So I just wanted to clear the air, right? I wear this hat to challenge the other people that put this hat on, so they have to expand their perspective, because there is no America without the Negro. And I am an American first, but I'm a Negro American first based on the history of segregation, disenfranchisement, and injustice towards our people. So I understand to listen twice before I speak first. I listen to the dog whistles. I know, and I'm an alpha. So of course I hear the dog whistles, but you know what? I'm righteous, I'm fearless, and I am willing to compete for my family and for the greater good of my people. So there is nothing about anybody throwing this hat on that's gonna make me feel away, right? Ain't we take the N word and made it what it is? We take, like, nigga, that's mine. So when you empower yourself based on the history of the people that you are and where you come from, there is nobody who can say the word great and you not feel empowered by it. That's the goal. That's the purpose. It's like the blackwash, hijacking, right? One day I might want to throw Make America Negro again on this same hat, because that's what I say and feel when I wear it. I'm not thinking about whiteness. I'm not thinking about white folk and the shit that they did. I'm not, because all they did was harm us from continuing to be great, destroying our communities when we were segregated, right? Birth of a Nation being played at the White House, right, in 1915, that begins this socialization of crosses being burnt on our homes. That's later. That's not in the 1860s and 70s. That was socially programmed into the European peasant, as Martin Luther King would say, that came over here and got freedom. I mean, free, not freedom, free handouts, right? So to really, really make us understand, this country is ours. whether we've gotten the benefits from it, whether we've got the just due because of it, whether our history was told or not, that's racism. But the truth is still the truth. So regardless of racism and niggas being haters towards our contributions, it does not mean that we did not contribute. So how about this time, our generation be the ones to make sure that we benefit off the greatness? Not that we fight it, not that we act like when people say make America great again, we talking about white people, yeah. And this time we want to get that check, reparations now. This time we want to get paid, what's up? And then we go out in the neighborhood and we work to build up our communities. Ain't that the game? We've been here long enough for me as a Negro man to be going back and forth between who's the biggest racist out of Republicans and Democrats. I'm going to sit down with both of y'all like 50 Cent did when he went up there for his businesses and he said, who willing to work with a black man? Because I am here to do business. I'm here to make communities better and participate in what we consider capitalism, right? Private ownership. So we have the ability as Americans, as Negro and Black Americans, to take whatever anybody is saying and make that shit our own. And that's what I choose to do. And I'm going to raise my daughter and my sons and the kids to come after that to do the same thing. My household operates like that. We are unapologetically Negro. So when you say make America great again, I'm going to say yeah, because we need the Negro Leagues back. We need our busing black communities back. We need black inventors. We need more open heart surgeries. We need more brain. We need all the stuff that made this country great, that we contributed, created, pioneered, revolutionized, because it's Black History Month, right? Negro History Week, right? We need all of that stuff thriving again. Not disenfranchisement, niggas, like not all the stuff we dealing with. No, we need, because in spite of what we dealt with in the past, we still were climbing up the ladder of greatness. So if they want to talk about we taking this back to a meritocracy, we've always been taught to be 10 times as smarter and as better. We couldn't be Steve Urkel or Stephon Arkell. We had to be both. You couldn't be no, you had to be both. So I hope that gives some texture in that. I just needed to clear the air on that, right? I might throw Make America Negro. I got a video concept for this. And I'm thinking about putting 1865 to 1877, because those are years of Reconstruction. Like, y'all gotta understand. Negroes trump all, like pay attention to the context clues. You're dealing with a free man walking. So I say that with peace and love. PSA before we jump into this Negro history. We're going to do the Negro history, then we're going to get into this RFK stuff. So this is the part two segment of IncogNegro episode 3. Hopefully I walk that slow enough for y'all. When I see Make America Great Again, I think Negro. If anybody associates greatness with America, I think Negro. Right? So let's make sure we get paid this time. Tell them about hype, gotta be precise. Episode 3. We back. IncogNegro episode 3. Do you believe in Negro greatness? I first want to make sure that last episode I didn't show y'all the book, because every episode I want to highlight a book that I'm reading, or gonna read, or I purchase and will read at some point. And the book last week that I forgot to mention was The Legal Status of the Negro. So make sure you pick up this one. This is the book that really confirms that the Negro is an ethnicity, is a political status, a legal status, and is an ethnic identifier, right? That term, right, which is why Barack Obama removed Negro from HR 4238, which is one of the main reasons why my organization, Anti-Negro Defamation League, I'm the vice president of that. And the New Negro Republic, we fight and advocate specifically for the Negro. Not saying that we ain't got love for all, quote, black people, but we understand that the pen and these Europeans and these overseers, quote, have played a lot of different games when it comes to terms, names, and access to resources. And it is a big difference when you put Negro in the application versus black. Right, because Negroes are acknowledged as a socially and economically disadvantaged community, And because of such, we have access or should be able to have access to a lion's share of what DEI seem to have taken away, right? They've diversified all the stuff that was supposed to be for Negroes. So pick up the legal status of the Negro. But today's episode, since we are in Black History Week, we are going to be focusing on the Black Book, right? This is an official original copy from 1974, and I'm super excited because Middleton Harris is the one who created this book, and it has a foreword by Bill Cosby, and I feel like it has a foreword and it has a ending that I want to get into. And it sets the tone to episode 3. Do you believe in Negro greatness? Introduction. Suppose a 300-year-old black man had decided, say when I was about 10, to keep a scrapbook, a record of what it was like for himself and his people in the United States. He would have kept newspaper articles that interested him, old family photos, trading cards, advertisements, letters, handbills, dream books, and posters, all sorts of stuff. He would remember things too, and put those in stories he'd heard, rumors, and dates. He'd remember the first march in Washington, how John Quincy Adams defended Joseph Clinique, the black slave ship rebels, and won. I believe that's the Amistad, which is a part of Black History Walking Tour I got coming. Shout out to Walking on Water. And one, the hospital that opened its doors to the wounded during the Civil War draft riots. He would know about black gold miners and pirates and factory workers and inventors. And he would keep records of blacks who owned slaves, lyrics of songs he'd sung, voodoo recipes he's tried, and all that he would put in his book. And he would end up with a folk journal of Black America, a book just like this one, beautiful, haunting, curious, informative, and human. No such man kept such a book, but it's okay because it's here anyway. I sure wish I'd had it when I was in school. Then I'd know what to say when Miss Broadbird said my speech was slang. I sure wish I had it when in my house back in Philadelphia, whenever they played the dozens, I know where they came from. More important, I wish I'd had it when I went to the barbershop. Then it wouldn't have been necessary for that dude to leave his car with half a haircut to run home to get his birth certificate to prove he was around when Josh Gibson was playing baseball. But here it is, at last, the Black Book. Everyone has one, you know. The difference is the difference with this one is that nobody has changed the names to protect the guilty. Browse in it. The pickings ain't any easy, but they're always good. September 1973, Bill Cosby. Shout out. Black Book. The back. Let me read the back because I'm going to get into the contributions after this. Matter of fact, I'll save that. Okay, so this episode is, do you believe in Negro greatness? Ethnic pride is very important for me because I've went through the journey of what it meant to be kind of erased or weird. I've went through the journey of weird name, what else are we mixed with, all that stuff I guess all kids go through. And I've come to a true value and understanding, for a while at this point, but especially standing on Negro, that American Negroes are great. We are the salt of the earth. We are America's biggest superheroes, superstars. We are the main attraction when it comes to America, right? We are. And because of such, when I hear statements about America being great, i.e. make America great again, I'm always going to reflect on Negroes. I'm always going to be empowered because of Negroes, because I understand that this country wouldn't be what they consider great if not for us. Doesn't mean that we haven't went through the horrors, like they said, the haunting, the horrors, doesn't mean we haven't went through what we've experienced. But what it does mean is, in spite of such, we still are great. We've given this country greatness. And our goals to continue on being great is to make sure this time we do it on our terms, we get full ownership and equity, and we multiply it towards our entire culture and to our entire ethnic group, and allow that to expand globally. Right? Hence why a part of this conversation will talk about patents that we created but didn't own because we were enslaved, and amazing contributions. So we're going to get into the contributions of some of the foundational innovators and inventions. Benjamin Banneker, born 1731 and lived to 1806. He was an astronomer, a mathematician, and a surveyor of Washington, D.C. Basically, he created the blueprints of Washington, D.C. He laid it out, right? Talking about master builder, right? For my 33rd folk, right? That's what he did. And Negroes also built the White House twice, right? We built the original one and then the one after the war of 1812. Lewis Latimer improved the light bulb firmament and the telephone to create the telephone, and he had a telephone patent. Lewis Latimer was born in 1848 and lived until 1928. My grandfather was born in 1925, so it's not that far apart. Granville T. Woods, 1856 to 1910, with over 60 plus patents in the railways and electrical engineering. Granville T. Woods, I mean, listen, people might talk about Albert Einstein and stuff like that, but listen, man, Granville T. Woods. Garrett Morgan, 1877 to 1963. Look at that. My mama was born in 1962. This is not that far. This is our people. This is a generation back, right? Literally. Three-way traffic light and the gas mask inventor. We got to shout out Annie Malone before Madam C.J. Walker as well. Madam C.J. Walker is 1867 and 1919. She is the first female self-made millionaire in the United States off a beauty product. I mean, and a beauty project, a products pioneer. So shout out to Madam C.J. Walker, Annie Malone. Madam C.J. Walker has a estate in Harlem. Go take the walking tour with BGX. Should be able to check out her crib. Dr. Drew, this is Dr. Charles Drew, and he revolutionized, we talking about blood, right? So he established the blood bank and the blood plasma preservation method. So basically the whole concept of giving blood, right? When you donate blood, and he fought against segregation and tried to segregate blood and stuff like that. Because white folks wanted, they ain't want, it's the one drop rule, remember, right? So you to think they didn't want our bloods to be even connected or close to each other in storage units. Franklin McKinney Jones invented the refrigerated trucking for food and medical transport. So we got to think about our role in the EMS, emergency response units, the ambulance. That's us. That's us. It's us. We are the first ambulance. But also, you wouldn't get the ice cream truck or the ice trucks without the motorized refrigerator that was invented by a Negro, right? So there's a conversation about the ice cream truck song and what it comes from. Y'all should also look that up, Nigga Love a Watermelon. But if you don't know about that, you hear the ice cream truck song, know that ice cream truck wouldn't be able to do what it does if it was not for Negroes, right? So see the racism there with the ice cream truck song, right? But the Nigga Love a Watermelon, but the engineering that wouldn't even be made. It's like we gave them an opportunity to be racist because of our inventions. It's crazy. So think about that. This is Marie Van Breton Brown invented the home security system and closed circuit surveillance. I'm assuming at some point Negroes was feeling paranoid that white folks kept showing up to our houses with crosses, burning them, and they live on the other side of town. Like, think with white privilege, right? Like, you got to think about who would need to feel safe in their homes if not for Negroes, right? So shout out to Marie Brown with that. home security system, and a closed circuit surveillance. We got Dr. Patricia Bath, laser cataract surgery innovator. We have Lonnie Johnson in 1949, the engineer and inventor of the super soaker. Yes. America is great because of super soakers, and you gotta thank Lonnie Johnson because of it. Because without super soakers, you ain't got kids outside playing and having a good time. I had a lot of fun with the super soaker, and the Negro invented the super soaker. We made America great. So why when people say make it great again, we can't think about us. Let's keep it going. And that's foundational ones, right? We got 7 areas, right? Negro politicians Negro politicians, right? We got Hiram Reeves was the first U.S. Senator in 1870. We got Blanche Bruce, the first Negro to serve a full term in the U.S. Senate. Robert Smalls, a former slave turned congressman in the Civil War. He's a naval hero and he was a Republican. And shout out to Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman elected to Congress. Now, I do have my concerns with that because, as a Negro American, right, it worries me a little bit. Not a lot, but I'm going to be honest, that a woman whose ancestry was not enslaved in this country didn't achieve that first. And this is not a diaspora thing. This is just, why not a Negro woman now? I'm sure because come on, we've had Ida B. Wells, like we've had Fannie New Hamer, like we've had some, right? Mary Bethune, we've had some. So okay, Negro abolitionists and freedom fighters, of course, Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, David Walker, Martin Delany, who also was a reparationist for real. And then we got to go into the Negro slave revolts. We got the Stonehouse Rebellion in 1739, but before that, Sarah's Fire, 1712, New York, and Caesar's Rebellion in Caesar's Rebellion in 1741, both of those two in New York. Stonehouse Rebellion in South Carolina, that paved way to the Southern Underground Railroad. Hence, you get Negroes in the South. That leads to, Yamasee Seminole Wars and Negroes rocking with Florida. That happens there. Gabrielle's Rebellion attempted the mass uprising in Virginia. You got Denmark Vesey. In Charleston, you also got Nat Turner. Shout out to Nat. So even our rebellions and our revolts were great, right? So we got to think about the fact that we've always fought in this country as well. So those things are important, right? Industries. This is the area I love putting together. Industries we pioneered, revolutionized, or sustained by Negro labor or ingenuity. This is the industries. Cotton, tobacco, rice, sugarcane, and indigo. I am an indigo child. I am. A South Carolina indigo child, right? On the Pinckney side, if you look up Charles Cosworth Pinckney and Elizabeth Pinckney, my father's last name is Pinckney. So on my Pinckney side, on my dad's side, we are the South Carolina Pinckneys. So Levi Strauss, you owe us some bread. Cotton, tobacco, rice, sugarcane, and indigo created the backbone of the Southern economy, and it sustained the Negro labor. We industrialized and created urban developments through the railroad. Negroes built and maintained Americans' railway system. Chain gang across the United States. We built and maintained that. Bricklaying and construction. Many major cities, including Washington, D.C., were built by Negro craftsmen, the master builders. We built it. We built this. Steel and auto industry. Negro labor was vital in the industrial bloom, right? A lot of the early race riots were labor disputes with Europeans who were coming over or had been here with Negroes. And because we had the skills, we were fighting against white Europeans in the labor market, right? Capitalism. And they were violent against us, but we bust back. We fought. We would have straight riots. They would kill us. We would kill them. But it was because we were competitive. We had an edge and we had a skill set. So businesses would look to hire us to kind of offset the cost of them, and they would violently take that out on us. Companies that benefited from Negro labor. The U.S. steel industry relied on Negro labor for the industrial production. Ford Motor Company hired Negro workers in factory plants and maintained a stronghold in Detroit. Standard Oil depended on Negro labor in oil refining and transport. Levi Strauss and Company benefited from Negro labor in cotton production for their denim. Levi's, I'm coming. I'm a Pinckney, as well as a Littlejohn, but the Pinckney's coming. Southern Pacific Railroad employed thousands of Negroes in rail construction and maintenance. Might have been, my mind thinks of Brotherhood of the Sleeping Car Porters with A. Philip Randolph. I wonder if that intersects there. Cities Negroes built. Washington, D.C., designed and constructed with significant contributions from Negro craftsmen and laborers. The city of New Orleans, Louisiana, built by enslaved and free Negroes who contributed to the infrastructure and architecture. Charleston, South Carolina, constructed throughout by the skilled labor of Negro carpenters, masons, and artisans. Chicago, Illinois, the Great Migration brought Negro workers who helped build and expand the city's industrial and residential developments. Atlanta, Georgia, Negroes played a critical role in its post-Civil War reconstruction and economic rise. So we have Negro towns, freedmen towns, which are now considered ghost towns in many areas because we either got flooded out, ran out, they put a lake over it, right? Like Lake Lanier, or they just bombed it like Tulsa, right? So we built these things in this country, so we made it great. Y'all hear the consistent theme? Negro sailors and explorers. Estevan Cinco, the Moor, in 1528 was one of the first Africans to explore what became the United States. Shout out to the Moors. They represent that Negro elegance, that black luxury. So a Moor was sailing in 1528. We always say what happened to the Moors after 1411. Only got Negroes and enslaved. It's in your blood somewhere. Juan Gadero, 1513, a black conquistador who helped establish Spanish Florida. Black builders of St. Augustine, also in Florida, 1565. This before the 1619 project. Enslaved and free Negroes built America's oldest city. 1565. Negroes built the oldest city. Negroes in space technology and modern innovation. Katherine Johnson, 1918 to 2020. RP just passed away. This hidden colors. NASA mathematician, key to Apollo 11 moon landing. What is it? One step for man and a giant leap for mankind? Isn't that what it is? I always say, what's the difference between man and mankind? The difference is, like, but key to Apollo 11 moon landing, a Negro woman. We made America great. Dorothy Vaughan, the first Negro supervisor at NASA. Mary Jackson, NASA's first black female engineer. Mark Dean, the co-creator of the IBM personal computer. A Negro. IBM personal computer. Negroes. So black boys love tech. Get them in front of tech. Our kids love tech. We are tech. We are frequency vibrations. We are alpha and omega. Mark Dean, co-creator of the IBM personal computer. The fight for reparations and justice, even that. We got Callie House, right? With the ex-slave pension and mutual relief fund for the Civil War fighters and the ex-slaves who wanted reparations. Queen Mother Moore, lifelong reparationist. James Foreman, right? The Black Manifesto, he wanted $500 million for them churches, right? Quakers, all them. Small hats, all them. We got William Patterson and Paul Robeson, 1951. We charged genocide to the United Nations, right? And y'all already know Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. I mean, we've had civil rights, freedom fighters forever. Those are the ones that they always talk about. So in conclusion, Negroes built America's economy. Negroes engineered America's infrastructure. Negroes fought for American democracy. Negroes demanded America's justice. We have never tried to assassinate the president, never have tried to assassinate anyone at all that's an official. We have never committed treason, unlike the Confederates, so we are deserved the Special Field Order 15, which is 40 acres and a mule. We are why America is great. So when people say make America great again, yeah, just pay us this time. Get out of our way, because if y'all notice, America ain't nowhere near great no more, because its superstars have been relegated, right? The golden nugget of this country has been pushed to the side, and they've just brought other people in, DEI, and they're not making it greater. No disrespect. So again, I'm gonna be coming back because we gotta end up on this Robert Kennedy stuff. But look up the Silent Negro protest, or it's the Silent Negro Parade of 1917, where it lists out the amount of land that we had. I might actually come back with that. I'm gonna come back with that to set the tone. This has been a long segment, but I want to give y'all some of them nuggets, and it's important. And I'll give y'all that before we jump into RFK. Telling of a Hype Gotta Be Precise. This is IncogNegro episode 3. Might be a little bit longer because we had to do some straightening. Peace and love. Okay, IncogNegro, we are back. This is going to be a quick one. We made America great. It wouldn't be great without Negroes. So when people say make America great again, think Negro. Simple. Silent Negro protest. I'm going to give y'all this. Right? This happened in 1917 after an egregious race war, fight, riot against white Europeans over labor. We were skilled, are skilled, have always been skilled, and we are a competition in this country. Hence why things are being put as barriers in front of us, because we're great. Do you believe in Negro greatness? Okay. It goes. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, and that amongst those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you are of African descent, tear off this corner. I say that because that's in this. So slide to the side. Black indigenous people. Love y'all. The Negro is a black indigenous person. Just say that. America has lynched without trial 2,867 Negroes in 31 years, and not a single murder has suffered. And I'm guessing we talking about the last 31 prior to. This is 1917. 20,000 black men fought for your liberty in the Civil War. The first blood for America's independence was shed by a Negro, Crispus Attucks. We have fought for the liberty of white Americans in 6 wars. Our reward is East St. Louis, meaning that's where the riot happened. 12,000 of us fought with Jackson at New Orleans. We fought with Perry at Lake Erie. 10,000 of us fought in the Spanish-American War. From Bunker Hill to Carrazzo, we have done our bit. The world owes no man a living thing, but every man an opportunity to earn a living. We are marginalized as lazy and murderers when we work. We are excluded from the unions and condemned for not joining them. Repelled by the unions, we are condemned as as scabs. Suffer little children and forbid them not. Unto the least of these are my brethren. 3,000 Negroes fought for American independence under George Washington. We helped to plant the flag in every American dominion. 34 Negroes have received Carnegie Hero Medals. Our music is the only American music. So treat us that way, may love our country. So treat us that we may love our country. India is abolishing caste. America is adopting it. Race prejudice is the offspring of ignorance and the mothers of lynching. Its fault is to be found with color. Blame God, not yourselves. Patriotism and loyalty presuppose protection and liberty. We have 1 million farmers. We have 30,000 carpenters. We have 30,000 clergymen. We have 12,000 brick and stone masons. We have 30,000 teachers. We have 3,000 physicians. We own 250,000 farms with 20 million acres of land worth $500 million. This is 1917. Let's compare that with 2024. We have church property worth $76 million, a square deal for every man. The Negro has never betrayed the flag, attempted to assassinate the president or any government official of this government. We have 60,000 iron and steel workers. We have 20,000 slaughter and packing house operators. Your hands are full of blood. Mothers do lynchers go to heaven. The great contradictions, love of God and hatred of man. Color, blood, and suffering have made us one. We pray for Lady Macbeths of St. East Louis. This was the silent Negro protest that took place in New York City in 1917 after a race riot in East St. Louis. This was a status check of what they had achieved in spite of everything that was going on. They are great. We are great. So stop allowing people to tell you that when you hear America, make America great again, you can't center Negroes in our greatness. And if you're not a Negro, I understand. If you're a person of color, I get it. Not your story, not your strength, not what you can pull from. But if you are a Negro American, a freedman, a Black American, call yourself Black Indigenous, descendant of those formerly enslaved or the free people of color, this was a status update of us in 1917. And dare I say, do we have 250, what was it, acres? 250 farms. Do we own 20 million acres of land worth $500 million as a collective unit today? Somebody get the information, let me know. Because the last time I checked, we do not have 250,000 farms. And we need them. Right? The Black farmers just got a couple dollars finally after 30 years, right? 20 years, right? And it's only a small amount of Black farmers, right? This says 250,000, right? Are we dealing with food apartheid, food deserts, malnutrition, bad health diets and stuff like that, right? Wouldn't 250,000 farms really help Negroes today, right? Right? I mean, I could go back to the bricklayers. I could go back to a lot here. Do we have it now? Those are Black jobs, right? That we've been replaced by illegal immigrant labor and robots. So again, make America great again. This time pay Negroes when you do. When we do, get out the way, let us do it. Pay us reparations so we can make this country better because it's going down. Meritocracy, no problem. We've always been better, worked harder, and have never tried to hurt this country. So I say all that to say, this is a fueled episode. Happy Black History Month. Shout out to Negro History Week. And look up the Silent Negro Protest Parade 1917 and look at them stats. Yeah. We had 1 million farmers, 250,000 farms, 20 million acres of land. We need that again. And as I wrap up, Robert Kennedy Jr. was going through the process to become the new head of HHS, right? It's Health and Human Services. And he was being grilled by a bunch of people in Congress, called a conspiracy theorist, all of these things. He's anti-science. And a congresswoman, I believe, found it offensive when R.F. Kennedy said that Black Americans or Black people have a better immune system than white people, so should be on a different vaccine schedule. I didn't take the COVID-19 vaccine. Shout out to my non-vaxxers. Right. And all the backlash we went through in that era. I had my daughter in the house with my lady. She's not vaccinated, and we had a natural home birth, and my daughter's going to be 2 in a week, and she's great. So I'm really struggling with what has seemed to be some of the backlash about what's coming out of this conversation. If Black people have a stronger immune system, and it is suggested that we be put on a different vaccine schedule, why does that make it seem like we are being denied or something like that, right? Why isn't it based on your needs, right, versus this rate of participation? So if white people need to take specific vaccines that Black people don't need to take because our immune system responds to the vaccines negatively, and or our immune system is built differently to not need the vaccines because we have a natural built system for specific things, right? This is because it wasn't a blanket situation. Why is it hard for y'all to deal with that? I'm aware of medical apartheid. I'm aware of medical denial, right? I'm also aware of Frederick Hoffman, right? And race traits and tendencies, right? That's why I'm a historian. That's why I so love who I am and where I am now, because I read everything. I read now, so. Daniel Hoffman argued that Black people were inherently inferior to white people by skewing death data of Black people prior to 1900. And the reason why Black people were dying so much prior to 1900 was because of the environmental conditions we were living under that was giving us tuberculosis, and we were dying from it. Tuberculosis is something that you get based on bacterial infections, shit based on your environment, not a genetic dysfunction, right? We don't have the 5 genetic diseases like the small hats. We don't, right? So we understand the foundation of drapetomania leprosy, these things that they said were genetically wrong with us, right? You run away from your slave master, you're crazy, right? There's something wrong with your pig. It's leprosy, which is also in the Bible. Interesting. So I do understand the concern, right? But you have to listen twice before you speak once. Look up the MMR vaccine and how it had different reactions that increased the autism rates amongst black boys who took it before 36 months. And look at how it changed after 36 months, right? The odd variance was a bit smaller, about half as many autism outcomes after 36 months versus before. So if the schedule is give these white kids and black kids the MMR shot at 24 months, and hey, the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine might be on the need to be on a different schedule for black kids, maybe after 36 months, motherfucker, then what is wrong with that? Why is that injustice? Oh no, because y'all gonna let the white boys get the vaccine in 24 months, but the black kids gotta wait to 36? That's how y'all sound. Yeah, because if you get it before, it's genetically going to mess you up. The science is already proven. Don't y'all see the amount of young boys, black boys that got autism over the last 20 years? Right? Because y'all still denying these adverse effects to COVID, right? Y'all don't even want to, because y'all still dealing with y'all regret. Y'all still don't want to talk about COVID and what that been having. People, I got COVID in late 2019, December, and it was a weird cough. Didn't even know it was COVID. Didn't know it was announced, but it was weird. And I was like, what is this going on? Got sick, didn't get sick again. Was outside marching, protesting against the vaccine mandates, and have not gotten sick. I barely get sick now. And I'm not gonna say I am the status quo. I'm saying that black Americans, right? So let me slow this thing down again. Frederick Hoffman created race tracing tendencies and argued that as a life insurance, he worked for Prudential Life Insurance, that Negroes should not get life insurance because we are inherently inferior genetically. And if we don't get health care, we would just die out and be exterminated because we're just going to die out. One of the main reasons why we don't have access to universal health care right now is because of that same ideology, which is racist. Because it's not based on genetics, it's based on environmental circumstances. So if you are redlined in areas where pollution is crazy, where the garbage trucks are not coming to pick up the garbages, where they run construction vans and trucks and big 18-wheelers with smog and pollution through your neighborhoods, hence why they ran all the highways through the black communities, not only destroying them, but creating an urban polluted environment, then what do you think? You are going to be dying based off of environmental health issues, not something genetic. Right? The nature versus nurture concept. Is it the nature of you, your natural elements, or is it the nurture, the environment that you are in? Slow the conversation down. Please listen twice before you think once. If we have a stronger immune system than white people, as per the science, because this is not new information, then that means that there are certain things that we should not have to take a vaccine for. Why? Because if the vaccine is having adverse effects in us, then that must mean it's reacting negatively with our nature. So people making this a nurture, oh, it's racism and white people. Listen, I know grandma and great grandma lived to 100. I know granddaddy lived to 80. My dad's 72. Healthy, protects his environment, not vaccinating himself. He's 72. I have people in my family records genealogically that I've seen live to 110, 90 years old. One old man, Littlejohn, I've seen the records. So why black men dying in their 50s and 60s? Not even 60s, in their 50s, right? Why is the black mortality rate increasing, right? There's a Journal of American Medicine study that came out in 2023 that said that black Americans have lost 80 million life years in the last 2 decades. So from 1999 to now, to 2020. I like to go with 2004 to 2024 because it gives me the vote or die. We voted and still died, right? We lost 1.6 million more deaths over the last 20 years. Guess what it was for? Structural racism, not innate dysfunctions, not because no, it is because we are in environments and we are still being boxed out of the lion's share of economic growth that gives us access to better health care, that gives us access to more doctors so we can treat conditions, have a better informed understanding of our health, and in truth, have black doctors that have proven that if you have a doctor of your race when you're black, it increases your life expectancy. So if we are genetically different, stronger, like I don't want to say stronger, right? Because people give reactions that, yeah, that's what they're killing black women in the hospitals because they know how to take pain. You know what pain is? My fiance having our daughter in our apartment in a tub with no medication, with the strength of the Most High God, and we had the baby, right? Did we lose more births when grandma and great grandma had them 14 kids in the house? Or the black women that's going through a maternal health crisis in these hospitals? Has access to more health care increased our life expectancy or actually put us in a cyclical cycle of dying because they are maltreating us? Is there a gray area somewhere for the skeptics? Because I know home birth is a lot more safer than hospital births. And I know that based on the amount of kids Granny had in the house. And when you go through the records and you see that there are small stillbirths, the births of kids who are dying young, especially black Americans, when you do your genealogy, it comes back to environmental issues. We were living in shanties. We were living in the most deprivating situations. So the environment is what was causing us to be sick, not genetics. So if we're genetically different, put us on a different schedule and stop arguing it's racism when someone is saying this is what the science is saying. Because everyone else who's talking outside of that is the people getting paid. They're getting paid by big pharma, by big corporations to keep y'all thinking that we need the same shit as white people. No, we need tailor-made things for us. Negroes made America what it is. Through everything we've been through, so we need a specific thing for ourselves. So, IncogNegro episode 3. Get ready for the Negro solstice. Speaking of which, December 21st, 2025, I'm going to be putting together a Negro solstice ceremonial celebration, activating the God gene. Might do a retreat, or we're going to do it at maybe BGX. Shout out to the family. But we're going to get our people in line and in order. Manic Mind official video is coming. New music, new album I'm working on. I got a clothing line I'm excited about. Working on my book as well. Like there's a lot, and I'm excited. God willing, we sign a lease for the building in Bushwick. And I'm here to make America great again for Negroes, for the things that we did, and to make sure that this time we get paid for it. And we running down on Republicans, Democrats, political opponents, friends, foes, it don't matter. My ancestry, 1685. I want to live to 2085 and beyond. So whoever we got to work with, sit down with to get what it is that we need as American Negroes, we gonna do so. Telling of a hype, gotta be precise. Fact check everything that I said, and I'm gonna end with the backdrop. A folk journal of Black America. Beautiful, haunting, curious, informative, and human. That's how Bill Cosby ended it. And this is the last words. I am the Black Book. Between my top and my bottom, my right and my left, I hold what I've seen, what I have done, and what I have thought. I am everything I have hated. Labor without harvest, death without honor, life without land or law. I am a Black woman holding a white child in her arms, singing to her own baby while lying unattended in the grass. I am all the ways I have failed. I am the Black slave owner, the buyer of the Golden Peacock bleach cream and the Dr. Palmer skin whitener, the self-hating players of the dozen. I am my own nigger joke. I am always the way I survived. I am the turn mush, the whole cake cooked on a hoe. I am 14 Black jockeys winning the Kentucky Derby. I am the creator of hundreds of patent inventions. I am Latif, the pirate, and Marie Lavieux. I am Bessie Smith winning the roller skating contest. I am quilts and ironwork, fine carpentry and lace. I am the wars I fought, the gold I mined, the horses I broke, the trails I blazed. I am the things I have seen. The New York Caucasian newspaper, the scared back of the the New Yorker Caucasian newspaper, the sacred back of Gordon the slave, the scarred back, of Gordon the slave, the draft riots, darky tunes, and merchants distorting my face to sell thread, soap, shoe polish, and coconut. I am all the things I have ever loved. Scooper, nog wine, cool baptisms in silent water, dream books and number playing. I am the sound of my own voice singing, sangaree. I am rain, shouts, the blues, ragtime, and gospel. I am mojo, voodoo, and gold earrings. I am not complete here. There is much more, but there is no more time and no more space, and I have journeys to take, ships to name, and cruise. I am the Black Book. Make America Negro again. And when they say make America great again, you better think the American Negro. Talent over hype got to be precise. This one kind of pissed me off because y'all supposed to know my body. Manic Mind out, and we out. Peace and love.